Morning, my brothers and sisters. Today's going to be about why should you listen to this video? Well, are you curious about God? Do you want to know what he says about himself? Do you want to find out how other humans have done in their encounters with him? And if so, then stick around. So if this podcast or video is just about me yakking about my opinions, then you should hold it with equal weight with all other media inputs. However, to the extent that I am faithful to the scriptures and accurately illustrate them and bring them to you, then this is different than any other media input of yours. So if this is a faithful walk through the activities and import of the book of John or whatever book we happen to be in, then it merits your attention, whether you are a spiritual pauper or the Pope himself. So I would love to have you critically listen. And if I'm wrong in my theology or my working of the passage, I'd love to have you tell me. And also, to the extent that this exercise helps you make this a habit, to build a habit with connecting with God's Word, which is to say, to God himself, then this exercise is valuable. So this podcast is for the church-goer and from one who is gone from church. Or maybe not even, never has gone. So this video is for the committed and for the curious. So if the curious, make some space, starting with minutes, so there's time, and there's also attention. And if we can move towards commitment, making this a regular part, even better. So here's my request of you, is give me 7 minutes of focused attention. So I settled on 7 minutes a number of years ago in starting this podcast because everybody has 7 minutes. It's 0.5% of your day. But if you add up enough of those over time, so those minutes plus your attention, that really adds up over time. So give me 7 minutes today, and then give me 7 minutes tomorrow. How do we do that? Well, subscribe to the Apple Podcast or to the YouTube channel. And then make this a habit. So I ask people to habit stack this activity, listening to the podcast, with another activity. So for example, something you already do, maybe getting your coffee in the morning, or shower. One of my friends times his shower by the length of the podcast, or perhaps driving your kid to school. And just to give you a taste of what we have been exposing ourselves to in John chapter 10, let me just summarize it. Jesus gives a new name for himself, and the name is Good Shepherd. Jesus calls himself the Good Shepherd. He defines himself by it and reveals himself in a new way. This beautiful and useful and valuable and praiseworthy shepherd that we have. It's a name that we best pay attention to, because here's the things about the names of God, is we're going to use them forever. So the shepherd is a name for God that we are going to use in heaven. It's perfectly appropriate for us to say to him in heaven as we see him walk down the golden streets, "Hello, good shepherd." So here's what the shepherd does, just in summary, and this is just John chapter 10. The shepherd says, "I know my own. I know my sheep. My sheep know me. I call them my own, and my own, they know my voice. I go before them. I lead them out and into pasture. I lead them to safety. I protect them. I make them unsnatchable. And I'm building this one flock." So this shepherd, this good shepherd, defines himself by ownership and investment and care. He has this unexplainable focus on the sheep. And the character of the flock that he builds is ultimately determined by the character of the shepherd. And this excellence of this experience of being a sheep correlates directly with the excellence of the shepherd himself. So all this alone makes me want to be part of this flock. But wait, there's more. So he defines good shepherd in a new way. He says he is the great shepherd by this: I lay down my life for the sheep. So he's pointing here. We're in John chapter 10, crucifixion is many, many chapters down the road. And he's pointing towards the crucifixion already. He's pointing towards the suffering. He's pointing towards being a substitution for them. So this is how he is going to fix the sin problem of the sheep, by the crucifixion and the substitutional death. And he says, I lay down my life, but then I take it up again. And that's going to point to the resurrection and him conquering death. So this is how he's going to fix the death problem of the sheep. So the Lord here, for some reason, he wants to be in relationship with the sheep. He gives it all for the sheep. So this begs the question is, so he's this great shepherd. He's the good shepherd. Actually, later in the Bible, it says he's a great shepherd. So he's the good shepherd. The question is, well, how am I doing at being a sheep? Am I a good sheep? And then if we ask us collectively, what kind of a flock are we as humans or as the church? And then individually is, what kind of a sheep am I? So we ask questions like this, not because they're easy, but because they are important. So that's what I'm asking you to do today, is to please subscribe. Please come back tomorrow. Please invest 0.5% of your day. I would treasure your attention to these essential considerations, because it's then that you get exposure to this wonderful thing. And today, the exposure is, welcome to seeing the Good Shepherd. See you tomorrow.